without a shadow of a doubt. It's the crooked show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another edition of the War Zone. I got my co-host in the building, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and the money man himself, Walter Couture. Say, man, if you ain't with being broke, on Wednesdays you know where to hang out. You ain't gotta go to the bar. You come hang out with us. But we gonna put you up on that money, man. Say, man, I'm about to go in, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another edition of the War Zone. I want to thank you for tuning in. And as usual, I will say without you guys, there would be no show. So thank you. We actually do appreciate it. So we do appreciate it. So thank you for tuning in. Today it was eventful, man. I put some work in, but I really had to think about some stuff that's going on with the University Interscholastic League. That's the UIL that handles sports for high schools in the state of Texas. And they came up with a very unique plan for fall football. Let me tell you what they did. They decided that 5 and 6A, quote unquote, the rich white schools, they'll get to start late. The poor other schools at 3, 4As, you gonna start ASAP. So what they finna do is Tuskegee experiment the black kids with football, and let's see how it work out, and then we'll tell you what we're gonna do with the rich white schools, and that's all it boils down to. I mean, you got African American coaches at poor schools that are in, they incensed right now. Why you making us go back and play sports in a school district that ain't even going to school? You see what I'm saying? Say, man, keep your eye on them people. But that's what's been on my brain all day, trying to figure out how in the hell you gonna force poor black kids to go back and play football, but you won't let them go to school. Something wrong with you people, man. I'm gonna turn it over to the Queen. You got it.
So, hello, everybody. Thank you once again for joining us on the War Zone. This is Wednesday night edition. And as Gary said, we have Walter with Wealthy Wednesdays, and he is going to tell us how to get closer to the goal of being wealthy. So more specifically, we are going to talk about how do we close the wealth gap. But before we get into that, one of the things that's trending in the news is President Trump is going to send troops, I think it's 125 of them, to Chicago in order to help curtail the violence that is going on in Chicago, especially the urban areas. Just the other day, it was a funeral that took place, and a drive-by happened where 16 people were shot. And as far as I know, no one died, but still, right? 16 people were shot. And so I think the last weekend, it was about 63 people shot, maybe 12 people of that 63 were killed. And so President Trump is saying, I'm sending in troops like he did in Portland, because you guys know Portland is off the hook. The people have commandeered a couple of police stations and all of that. But the mayor, Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, is saying, you're not coming in here with troops. Over my dead body is pretty much what she's saying. And so I guess it remains to be seen. But there's a lot of people in Chicago who are saying, hey, we welcome the troops because we need somebody to do something. But I will say this. I think we as Black people should be careful in wanting that to happen. But the other part of that is, well, if we don't do it, who is going to do it? We can't talk about policing our own neighborhoods and you have people running around killing, innocent babies and things like that. And I will also say, we know it's theorized that is not just the Black people in the neighborhood, that a lot of operatives may be running around there. Maybe the police, FBI, KKK, they also may be involved in some of the shootings. But until then, Trump is saying, hey, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do it my way. Go ahead, Gary.
Well, the operatives must have just showed up because them Negroes been off the chain for the last 3, 4 years out there. But I'm going to say this here. The root problem of that, if Trump wants to fix something, then you have to figure out why your government is allowed to pump tons of dope into Chicago. You know, you go all the way back to Pablo Escobar. Y'all been pumping dope, El Chapo. Then you want to look at the school system because you woke up one morning in Chicago and you closed 6 to 8 black schools. So whoever was a gangster that was trying to get an education, you forced them to the streets. So before you get to sending in troops, figure out your root problem, which realistically is the United States of America pumping dope into Chicago.
And the other part,
yeah, let me just say, absolutely, that's absolutely true. But with these federal agents, you guys got to realize there's not that many federal agents in the federal agency system. These are contractors. The former head of the Homeland Security even said that in an interview that, yeah, these are contractors. These are, you know, so that could be a bunch of KKK members, Ray and Buck, all the guys from down the South that just want to ante up. And right now, the military is really upset because these guys are wearing military type gear and they're not identifying themselves. And as far as Trump bringing in the troops, he can't bring in the troops other than to defend federal buildings, because again, that's why we have local law enforcement. But if the people allow it to go on, then it's going to go on.
Right. So. And so, Walter, did you have something to say? Oh, so to that point too, Gary, I'd like to piggyback off of what you said really quick before we transition into our main topic. Along with Trump sending in troops or whoever he's sending in there, Kermit the Frog, whatever, he also needs to address the systemic and institutional racism that takes place in our neighborhoods, the dilapidation of jobs and factories and things like that, the economic system in our neighborhoods, because without money in the economic system, then of course there's a lot of crime and, you know, a whole bunch of other stuff that takes place. So all of it needs to be addressed. All right, so let's get to our main topic at hand. This morning, I was reading an article that said that 25 of the most profitable corporations are set to distribute about 99 or distribute funds or dividends rather to their shareholders, and 99% of those shareholders are white men, right? And so that actually does not help with the wealth gap. A lot of these companies have made a lot of money during the coronavirus. I mean, in fact, and I'm just giving y'all some statistics off the top of my head. So the Black poverty is double that of white people, right? So let's take it back, all the way back to slavery, where when slavery ended, Black people, slaves, ex-slaves rather, were guaranteed 40 acres and a mule. General William Sherman said, hey, you know what, let's give ex-slaves 40 acres and a mule, land, money, and all of that. President Lincoln, he did sign it into law, but of course, you know, he died. And then Andrew Johnson came along and said, nah, I'm good. We're not going to do any of that for the slaves. He rescinded it, took it back, right? All right. So that land and money was supposed to be given to us to help close the wealth gap. That never happened. Now, remember, we're working with about 300 years, you know, or so at that time with the wealth gap that had already taken place. Okay. So then comes the New Deal with President Roosevelt. You know, with the New Deal that came right after the Great Depression, Black people especially was suffering. It was a lot of, you know, things going on. So he enacted the mortgage credit. That's when the mortgage credit came in. It was supposed to help people be able to have easier access to homes. Well, that did take place, but it didn't necessarily take place for Black people because you had things like redlining, which said on a map, if you will, and to lenders and things like that, where Black people could and could not buy. Okay. So that helped widen the wealth gap, among other things. And then 2008, the recession hit. And what did Black people get during the 2008 recession? Subprime loans. Did we not? We got subprime loans, which means that the loan was fairly inexpensive at the front, but toward the end, you know, it blew up like a balloon payment, whatever. A lot of Black people lost their homes. It said 50% of Black homeowners lost their home. And I don't know if you guys realize, but when you lose a home, you also lose wealth. Real estate is one of the main ways to grow wealth and generational wealth. So that was gone just like that. And so in that 2008 situation, You had institutions like Wells Fargo who would actually go to the churches and talk to these pastors and say, hey, for every member you get to sign up, get a loan through us, we'll give you guys a kickback. And so the church was also, we talked about that yesterday, the church was also complicit in helping to further widen the wealth gap between Black people. So I guess the point that I'm making is, we know that regardless of the things we do as Black people, as far as spending money, we have $1.3 trillion coming in our community. We spend 97% of that with everybody else. Even with that, we still have systemic and institutional racism. And so, Walter, we want to talk to you for this time that we're here, and how we as Black people can help close that wealth gap, because it is said that, and I say this all the time, Black people have wealth of about $17,000. White people have wealth of about $171,000. It's going to take us 232 years, give or take, to catch up to that of white people. And the only way that we can close that gap is really an infusion of cash, and that is via reparations. Because there's a lot we can do, but we'll never close that wealth gap. And so, Walter, well, we want to talk to you about some ways that we can actually help do that. You got the floor.
All right. I don't know, and I always apologize in advance. I don't know how deep you want me to go tonight, but I'm gonna bring my Muslim father alter ego along tonight. So, first of all, we need to stop talking about Black and white. Now, we need to talk about it because we need to uplift ourselves. But when we get out in the real world,
one more thing that I did forget to tell you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. So, with all of this profit that was made through these companies and all of that, it is said that white people, white America, will get 9 out of the $10 that are made. Guess how much Black and brown people are going to get out of that $10? Take a wild guess.
I can answer that. Not a goddamn thing.
Close. 16 cents. 16 cents. That's what we're going to get, and white people are going to get $9, furthering the wealth gap. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead, Walter.
No, see, I guess, shit. We have to, like, for instance, when me and you were talking this morning about white people got most of the money and all that. I thought, it is true. We are not getting it, but I guess this is why you asked me to talk about this tonight, is I got my money. I got almost $50,000 in stimulus and grants and all kinds of stuff from the government. And I run businesses, and they, one thing I tell people is, listen, you have to start thinking about money more often. When people call me, text me, friends, family, unless it's leisure, people here everywhere. First thing I do when I pick up the phone and I go, where's my money? Period. Is me picking up this phone gonna make me money? Is it income? Is it incoming money or outgoing, and wasting my time? And that's what I think we as Black people don't do. I tell you, I am not embarrassed. My friends and family would tell you all Walter thinks about is money. That most of that is true. I do other stuff too. Those of you getting to know me know on Friday night, Saturday morning, I'm gone somewhere every week. So I can't shut down, but you need to be focusing on your money. One thing I've always decided is if I get good at something, I'm going to make sure I get paid for it. I don't care. Some of you guys can cook, got clothing line, hair products.
You got wind in your microphone.
I'm sorry?
Wind in your microphone.
Oh, I'm trying to get paid off the wind. So people, you have these gifts and you're not using them. We as Black people are scared as hell. When I tell my people, hey, here's a good thing you could do, they go, oh, well, we start hemming and hawing about being scared. We have to stop that. Sometimes we need to take some risk. When the stimulus package came out, they said there's an SBA, there's a pandemic loan, there's an injury loan, there's all these things, there's grants, there's unemployment, and you name it. And so I just looked into the programs, and I have my son, we work around the clock. He'll probably be here till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then We just follow the money, period. So in my opinion, it being a black and white thing, yeah, there is some of it. You guys, it's not a shock that, how do I say this? Like, and I don't want to keep saying nay, but like, I think when the Europeans brought Africans over here as slaves, they didn't see us being equals one day, marrying their daughters. You know what I'm saying? Having businesses with them and all that stuff, right? They didn't see all that. So right now, they're in shock and they don't know what to do. And so they're going back, and thanks to Agent Orange, going, now they feel like they have some cover. They're saying, we don't want you here, right? Now we have all these programs and stuff for Black people right now because of the protests and all that stuff. But for some of them, that's the end of it. So at this point, you have to go out and get your money, right? So like the wealth gap, let me start with this loan thing, right? Because I know with Wells Fargo and some of those guys, they went to the Black communities and they did push these loans. I know because I had some of these same loans, right? And me, a bunch of my Mexican buddies and my white buddies, and a bunch of us took these negative amortization, pick a pay, 1% up front for the first 5 years. And after 5 years, it went to 8-9%. We all signed that same paperwork. And my mortgage broker said, this loan is good for 5 years. In 5 years, it is going to balloon and wipe you out if you don't save the money. Now, I don't know what these preachers were doing and all these people. I don't know if they were being educated, because some of them were just in there. And yeah, I went to some churches and they were pushing these crazy loans, and they were just signing and walking by the off. They weren't even reading them, and that's wrong. But we as Black people need to start taking responsibility for that, because it's not ever going to change. It's only for Black people. It's going to get worse. Right now when I watch TV, and anyone who knows me know I'm well racial. Like I got white people in my family, Hispanics. I got everybody in my family tree, right? But Black people, our time, we went on the protest. Our time was here. Our time is gone. You know what they're talking about right now? Latinos. Turn on CNBC, turn on MSNBC, turn on Bloomberg. Right now, they're talking about Latinos in the coronavirus, the Latino health crisis, the 11 million people that are here illegally that Joe Biden wants to sign on his first day and make them legal. Black people, our time is up. We had our time and we blew it. And it's too bad, too, because people say, well, Black people, and we aren't being treated fairly. And that's never going to be the case. Ever. So for those of you who are waiting for equal opportunity, stop holding your breath. You're turning blue. It ain't going to never happen.
Joe ain't going to treat them fair.
It ain't going to never be fair.
Joe gonna mess over us.
Huh?
I don't even feel black no more.
You know what's fair? Is waking your black ass up at 5 o'clock in the morning and checking your money, working your first job, and then 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock having lunch, and then working your second job. And when I say job, I mean businesses. Some of the people, even here on the war zone, I get messages and I keep forgetting you guys are 2 and 3 hours ahead. At 5 a.m., my phone starts ringing and my messages start going off. And the crazy part is, if I can just divert, who's reaching out to me from the war zone? 95% women. Period. I'll just keep it real. Out of all the people that have hit me up from the war zone, 2 of them have been brothers. 2.
They need that money to get a sack.
2 of them. Actually, I've had 3 hit me up. 2 of them are like, I'm ready. The other one's still thinking about it. So we have to, as a people, we all need to step up. Like Black men, and I'm speaking as one of them. We have to take over for our women, period. And I know people say, I don't need a man, and that's a lie. You need somebody with masculine. Maybe if you're in a relationship and it's 2 women, that's fine, but somebody has to be the stronger one, right? Somebody got to step up when the burglars show up at night and go to the front door and check it out. So we as Black men need to step up. Like, I don't understand how we could be the most wanted men on the planet. I mean, not just by the police. I mean, sexually, physically, spiritually, mentally, everything. When I travel the world, my girl's like, don't go far. Especially in Asia. Donovan, no. So we are the most desired people on the planet. And you guys, these other races, they want to help us. Now, some white people want nothing to do with it. And this, we can be honest, some black people don't want nothing to do with helping white people either, right? It is what it is. So we have to start focusing on our money. And how do we do that? So we can just get to it. How do you separate the gap? First of all, cut your expenses. I was on the phone with a brother here from the war zone, good dude, my age, and I told him, hey man, cut the car payment. Let it go. Cut it. He goes, I'm ready. I said, cut it. By the way, my membership is up and functioning. So I said, let that go, right? So let's say your car payment is $800 a month. You figure with everything, right? With the car payment, insurance, because if you have a car payment and that loan, the insurance company wants you to have gap insurance. They want you to have insurance on the loan, not just the car, right? So what's happening is if you're paying $800 a month on a car and you're not making $12,000 to $15,000 a month, you are making a mistake. See, black people, one thing we could do to bring the economy to a halt in our favor is stop spending money. Now, it's going to hurt the economy up front if we stop spending money. And that means spending money on the crazy stuff, right? You guys think about this for 1 second. What happened when the coronavirus showed up? The economy froze, didn't it? Remember that? Do you realize that the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the S&P are almost at all-time highs? So if rich people can make money when the economy comes to a halt, why can't we? Like, Gary, D. Donovan, I got a lot of sisters on the war zone that are blowing me up. I'm sending stock tips, quotes. They sending me stock photo shots. I'm like, I told my son,
you can send them photos to me, brother.
Right? Yeah, they got money too. I like it. So I'm like, I had somebody today was like, what do you think about this stock and this option? I'm like, all right. For somebody that's been doing this 2 weeks, she was on it. Like, she was right there. So, and one thing I was thinking is if I can educate a group of people about a subject and they can teach other people, it's all over. Like the person I spoke to today, I think she took $65 and bought 300 shares of a medical company. I'm not going to put that stuff out there, but 300 shares of a medical company that's fighting for a vaccine. $60 to control 300 shares of a company that's fighting with the vaccine. $60, 300 shares, control. And I was looking at her style, I was looking at her pick. It's up today, almost 50%. Like, I'm hoping she bought it at least yesterday, based on the price she told me she bought it. Where it's at when the market closed today, she was up 50% on her money. So people, imagine if you do that with $1,000, $2,000, and that $2,000 goes to $3,000. If that happens to you just once a month, can you imagine what happens to your wealth? See, it doesn't, you guys, we don't need a miracle or Jesus or Sweet Chariot or Harriet, none of those guys to come save us. We need to save ourselves, right? So, like, I did the stock option class, and this is our second one, and it was good. I think the class went better, right? So we were doing this class, and a lot of people on that class, like 100% of the people that text me with their ideas and their accounts and what they were buying and the positions they bought, all women, 100%, all women. All of them, all women. We ain't gonna never build a black community with the women doing it by themselves. Now, if it was black women alone on the planet, like the Amazons, our black race would be fine. But if we got to carry the black ass man behind and drag him, the black people, we ain't gonna never get nowhere. Period.
So what you're saying is these men ain't doing a goddamn thing.
It's not what I said, but I'm saying right now it's the women first. But I'm just saying, like, we have the ability, we can do this. And I keep telling you guys, and a lot of people, like, what's happening right now with some of the other races is they are pulling their money. Let me tell you what my Latino buddies, when I'm on the phone with them, they are nervous right now. They are afraid. Like, they're like, this is our shot, right? Now they're focusing on us. You know, there's Latino grants, like there's black grants, but like, they're like, and honestly, guys, when I look at our community versus not versus the Latino, because we are one and the same, really, if you break it down, they have more men in the front than black men, period. We need to step up. And to some degree, some of my Mexican buddies don't even let their wife up front, if you understand what I'm saying. He's like, I'm the man. She's in the house. Tell me what you want me to tell her. Right? Black men, we got our woman outside doing everything. That's got to change, period. So in people, they will respect us more if the men step up and do more, right? So I would say, one, start, like, cut your expenses, let them go. I say this every time I come on here. Those of you guys with car payments, like, I had a black Maserati with white interior pull up next to me. I want that car. And I could afford it. I could afford that Maserati. But like, it ain't my future. My future can't afford it, right? So cut your expenses, you guys. I know you have people say, I need a car to get around. I need to be safe. How safe are you spending 20% of your income on a car payment? That ain't safe, right? So let it go, right? If you have something that you don't need, like storage, black people, we are the king of storage. If you have storage, you know what that means? You don't need it. I don't have storage. And my kid did tell you, come to my house and leave something sitting on the counter. I am quick to throw shit away. If I'm not using it, get rid of it. Now I know people say, oh, well, that refrigerator was nice, so I'm putting it in storage. Really? So you bought a refrigerator for $1,000 and you paying $200 a month to hold it? You'll never get rich doing that with your stuff. So go through your expenses. I see, Donovan, you put the mint.com up there, which is cool. You can go there, put your expenses in soon. Cornucopia will have one of those very soon. But like, go through your bank statements, track your expenses. You guys, and I think you said this, piss to the point of festivity, if I'm correct. You have to get mad enough to say, I'm sick and, like, think about this. Let me back it up. If you go to work and you don't have any money saved, you have wasted your life, because homeless people eat every day, sleep every day, and some of them wash every day. Only difference between you and them is you are going to work for it and having nothing to show for it. Why would you? And you guys, I used to be like that. Cut it loose. If you are not saving money, you're killing the race. I don't want to hear, like, I saw somebody post on social media, and he was talking to black people, and he's a brother, and he was like, you guys, you know what? All this stimulus money out there, he goes, I got my money, some of you got yours, and I see you throwing it away. He goes, some of you guys are making $600 a week, now you're getting $1,800 from the unemployment, and you're not doing anything with it. He goes, it's your fault. Let me tell you, black people ate his ass alive. It ain't your money. Mind your business. It ain't, worry about what you're doing. That ain't gonna work. Like, he was right on the money. And this, by the way, you guys, coming next week, it's over. They're gonna adjust there'll be some stimulus, but it's gonna end. And the people that get money next will be the people doing the research, and the same old people who always get the money, they're going to go back to get the money, right? Some of the people on this war zone right here got thousands and tens of thousands of dollars, you know, do this program and working with my son. I know he is around the clock working on this stuff. Some of you guys know my son better than I do, right? So let's do something with that money. And you guys stop being scared. Please don't tell me you got to think about it one more time. And if I hear one more person say I got to pray on it, anyways, I don't like you prayed for a miracle financial and then it shows up and you got to pray again on it. Stop doing that.
That's that faking, Walter.
Yeah, well, and I hear a lot of people say that, like, oh, I'm gonna pray on it. No, that's not how it's supposed to work. First of all, do you really think, and I'm gonna try and be careful when I say this, but do you really think you need to pray to God? Like, use your imagination. Let's say I'm God, right? And I'm above my people. Do I need them to pray to tell me what they need? Am I supposed to know that already? You know, I don't think we do enough as Black people. I don't think we need to spend more time being grateful, being appreciative, because some of you have nice homes, cars, you have a successful relationship, and you're not doing anything to praise that. Some of us are in a really good position right now. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be more grateful for what we have, and we need to add on to it. And I think when you are more grateful, you do better. When you are, and you're less likely to blow money when you're more appreciative, right? I enjoy being a young Black man, in a country where I'm free. Now, let me premise it by saying this.
Did you press your mute button?
Psych. Oh, sorry. So, no, what I was saying was, when it comes to this country, I'm grateful that I'm free, right? Because, and I know the US, we have problems in this country, but we have to stop using it as an excuse. You guys, this is as good as it's ever going to get for Black people, period. It ain't gonna ever get no better. Let me tell you why. Because all of our Black leaders, the Sharptons and the NAACPs, they have got hundreds of billions of dollars over the last few months. Have any of us seen any of that money?
Say, man, we ain't seen a goddamn thing.
So think about this for a second. The NAACP has got billions of dollars. The Al Sharpton, all those. Where is that money at? That's what we need. See, we as Black people need to be more accountable. Let's stop asking the white man for shit. He's not interested anymore, period. And they are not. It's our turn. We have a couple things we could do. One, we can act like a strong people, or we can take our Black asses back to Africa. That's their position. They're not doing anything else. They don't. Matter of fact, now their people are in trouble. Like Donald Trump was killing Biden in the polls. Now he's getting whooped. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Say, my man say that's fake polls, man.
Well, true. And I understand that's what happened with Hillary too. But I think everybody is starting to feel more like, hey, I'm struggling. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like a lot of these restaurants, and walk through your neighborhood and see businesses that were there 6 months ago. Gone. Can you imagine being a restaurant person and you saved up for 10 years, emptied your 401k, and you ran a restaurant for 10 years, and in 3 months it's gone? Every single, just gone. You imagine that for 1 second? You don't have pensions, your house ain't paid off like Donovan. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't all secure. Your last dime you put in this restaurant, and poof, it's all gone. And you don't know how you're gonna pay your bills. That is the way we need, as Black people, we need to come with that energy, right? So tomorrow morning, when you guys wake up, those of you who've been in the stock market class, stock market opens up at 6:30 California time, 9:30 your time. 8:30 Houston, and 9:30 in New York. And so right now, let me tell you what's about to happen. those of you who've been watching CNBC and Bloomberg, because CNBC and MSNBC, they ain't gonna talk about this because they like drama. If you watch CNBC and MSNBC, you will become depressed. Fox 2, all of those networks, you will become depressed.
My man told you that was fake news.
Like, I was in Las Vegas this weekend. I was sitting there watching CNN, and I was going, you know what? I want to just go jump in the pool and drown myself. This is 1 hour of straight depression. So I switched to Bloomberg. I go back to CNBC, and I started feeling better. What's getting ready to happen right now is Pfizer and what's the other company? BioNTech or something like that. The government is giving them $2 billion. 2 companies have the vaccine for the COVID already. Let me be clear. They have the vaccine for the virus. Not only do they have the vaccine, they're already preparing to make 600 million copies of as soon as they get approval from the FDA. Do you know who's over the FDA right now? Take a guess. Donald Trump. Now, he doesn't run the FDA. He's not on their list. But who do you think is pushing the buttons right now? Donald Trump. You watch how fast this vaccine gets approved. Some people said it's going to be the end of next year. No, it's not. I would think that it's going to be now. I think in the next 2 to 3, maybe months at the most, this vaccine is going to be here and people are going to be taking it. Period. You know why? Because people the economy needs to open. Period. And there's some people and a lot of people that are saying, you know what? I will risk my life. I was at the pool trying to mind my business. You know how it is, Donovan. And this girl walks up to me. I said, where's your mask? She goes, you know what, baby? I want to just get it and get it out of the way. She goes, I'm tired of it. Our business shut down. Me and my husband are here going crazy. We don't have nothing to do. She goes, I wish we would just get it and be through with it. And I said, you know what? Well, you might be one of the 0.5% of people that get it and die with it. But I know what she meant. I know her frustration. Because I have one of my other businesses that came to a screeching halt when the virus showed up, went to 0 completely. So when you think of it like that, there's some people that just want the economy to open. I'm one of them. Like I was on my way home and the guy took his mask off. I'm not wearing a mask. Trump or America. I wanted to slap the shit out of him. I was like, dude, I don't like wearing a mask either. But like, don't you want the country to open? Like, we are not going to open, you guys. And Dr. Fauci and these guys, every day the news gets worse. And you know who's the most afraid? Black people. We are the most scariest people on the planet. That news is for us, right? So anyways, back to building wealth. Get rid of your expenses. You guys, everybody, if you haven't opened an E-Trade account, I don't know what you're waiting on. I really don't. I just told you today, for $60, a girl got in and she's controlling 300 shares. Like, what do you need? You tell me you can't put together $100 in an account? Like, Mike, as an adult, like, and I don't care what your bills are. Do you know what Hertz Rent-A-Car did last month? Told their bill collectors, kiss my ass, we ain't doing it. You know what Cheesecake Factory told their landlord? Good luck. We're still open making money, but it ain't the money we need. We're not paying you. Yeah, this is Cheesecake Factory, Hertz Rent-A-Car. These are big, giant corporations that file bankruptcy and tell everybody, yeah, we got money, but we're not going to spend all of it, so we're just going to file bankruptcy. So some of you guys, and I'm not telling you to file bankruptcy, please don't ever do that unless it's just dire. Your life literally is on the line. Bankruptcy is a disaster for a human being. But some of you guys, like your credit is jacked up. If your credit is a mess, don't you think the best time to burn it would be right now? Like if you want to crash and burn, I told somebody yesterday, dude, your credit's struggling, give the car back, give it all back. Let your credit crash right now and we can rebuild it. See, with credit, how you build credit really quick is if you have, like, some people will be late on something, you're better just giving something back and being done with it versus being late 3 or 4 times. See, once you're late on your credit report, boom, you get hit. Then you're late again, boom. So what some people do is they're late 4 or 5 times and then they give it back. No, just give it back, period. It will help your score. Another thing too, when it comes to building wealth, you guys, these credit repair companies that are like, oh, I can fix your credit or pay us and then we'll settle with your creditors. Please don't do that. You guys, that is killing us, because what happens is you owe $10,000. They will then have you make payments to them, and then 6 months, 2 years later, they will pay your creditors 40% on the dollar. Do you realize you can call your creditor right now and be like, the COVID, this, that, I'm filing bankruptcy. My lawyer, you guys, I'm giving you the script of what I use, what I tell creditors all the time for my clients. Here's my exact script. The COVID's going on. I hired a lawyer, bankruptcy lawyer. He told me not to pay you shit. Here's what I'm going to do. He goes, you got 2 or 3 days to see who's going to settle, because maybe you want to go back to them in the future, but everyone else we're not paying. So you have 2 or 3 days to let me know if you will take 40%. Do you know that works for me 9 out of 10 times? And they say, oh, no, that's not, we got to go. You got to be late 60 days. No, you don't. So stop paying those companies to do that for you. And you'll notice, see, here's the deal. You guys, if you make $2,000 a month and your bills are $1,200, you are financially independent, period. That's it. See, being wealthy isn't about having a big stack. It's about having your bills be lower than the money that comes through the door, and then comes through the door without you working for it. See, so let's say you're getting a pension right now of like $4,000. Like, especially if you're retired and you're collecting a pension on Social Security, you guys, there's no reason for you to have any expenses whatsoever, because like your income isn't going to stop until you die. Then you need to make sure you have insurance to protect the future generation. But like, cut that stuff loose. I want you guys to imagine this. Like, look at Donovan right here. Imagine getting a check, no matter what you do with your day, getting a check every month. Now, Donovan put in his time in his service, right? Donovan makes some smart moves. I know I've been to his house. He got the same old cars out there. He got that little ratchet Toyota, that whatever that, or that Honda CRX. But it starts, and it's cool because every time I go there,
No, it's my 2003 Hyundai Tiburon, rolling.
But you know what? Every time I go to Donovan's house, he always looks at peace. I don't know. Donovan's like, oh, don't worry. We try and pay Donovan. He don't want the fun. He don't want no money.
Wait. He's at peace unless he got a ratchet over. That's what he is.
Well, I don't know that much about Donovan. But so you guys, peace of mind is the best interest rate. Period. And you cannot experience it. I mean, you can't feel it till you go through it. My sister will tell you the market crashed. First of all, the stock market was in the heyday. I took 50 grand, turned it into 2 million. I didn't really say nothing to my family. I just started buying real estate. A lot of them didn't even know I had that money sitting to the side. We were just going on trips, vacations, all kinds of stuff, but I really didn't say much. And then the market crashed, and all my money I put in real estate, gone. So I lost all that money, plus I was in debt. And I owed like NFL players money, like people that thought I owed them money because we went in a deal together. Was like, I don't care about escrow. I want my check. I was like, hey, man, that ain't how it works. He goes, hey, it's how it's working with us. So all that stuff. And then I remember I had this. So for those of you, those people, so I understand being like broke and busted. Like, I was sleeping on my sister's couch. She'll tell you, it was me and my girlfriend, Laura. We went from being in the Ritz-Carlton to having millions to sleeping on my sister's couch, period. Like, and I remember I had the Chevy Tahoe, and I was fighting with the bank. I said, you know what? Come get it. I'm done. And they showed up quick, too. So I lost the car. And then I remember taking my kids out of private school. That was $2,200 a month. I just remember and then I remembered when I got to rock bottom and I had one of my creditors go, Walter, what are you fighting for? She goes, don't you feel at peace that you don't have all that crap and you could just start over? I was like, wow, you make me feel real good about being broke. But I started all over and I told everybody, you know what? We ain't got it, but we'll get it again and we'll rebuild. And that's what happens. So the point I'm making, you guys, is you just have to let it go. I don't care now. If you have a house, don't let your house go, right? Right. But, unless you're getting killed, your mortgage payment is $2,500. And I know in Texas, you don't have that, right? Some of you in Texas, your mortgage is $250, which is, I'm telling you, Houston's looking all right to me. I'm already looking at property in Houston. I'll come down to the third ward. I'm not scared.
I'm getting some property at the shelter.
Hey, I tell you this. I'm a bargain hunter. Take me to the worst neighborhood in the country, and I will buy real estate right there. You know why?
Because down to Houston, we got a couple of spots for you.
You guys, and those of you who know me, I am dead serious. I was on the phone with one of your guests yesterday. I said, hey, take me to the hood. Because if you walk through the hood, those houses are abandoned. No one's been there. The property tax may be behind. The house boarded up and abandoned. You guys, if you see something like that, please call me. We will be down there. I love Texas is like my second favorite spot. I don't mind going there. You guys, that's how we build wealth, is by going and taking back our neighborhood. And I know Houston. I don't know a lot about Houston, but
but to your point, you have the right idea, and we talked about this because that's what he is doing there, going to buy these houses to refurbish them. I'm in the neighborhood, but to his point, we buy back the block. We buy back our neighborhoods, and we stop the gentrification. So if we have a portion of the neighborhood, then it's not as sexy to the people who are trying to come gentrify it and take it over and all of that. But we got to stop leaving the neighborhoods and start going back there. And I know, a lot of people say, hey, you really don't want to do that. But if we don't do it, they, them, whoever they are, they're going to go do it and run everybody out. And Black people, we already are, double the poverty rate of everybody else. Where are we going to live? If our neighborhoods are being bought up by them and the rents are being raised, where are we going to live if we don't do it?
Right. And I know, hey, Shannon, she sent me a list of foreclosures in NC. I got that list. You best believe that. And here's the other thing I said to people, too. You guys, let's work together. If you see a house in your neighborhood and you find it and you see something like that, call me, call Don, whoever, get D, call us. Like, I will fly out there. And if we get that house, we can split the money. See, I would rather have half of $10 million than 100% of one. Does that make sense? So some of you guys, that could be, do you realize in Wall Street, you know how they make money? Is you give them the money, they go out, find the investment, and they split the money with you. Period. How much of that money in Wells Fargo do you think Wells and Fargo put in the bank? Right? That's not their money. That is our money in Wells Fargo. They take our money and they go invest, and then they give us a tiny bit. So how it works in the investment world, if you find an investment, and let's say we bring the cash, then we are business partners. You understand that? Like, some of you guys are walking past these hood rat houses, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm looking at, that's money. You ever watch Flip This House? What houses are they buying? Are they going to like the beautiful homes and just painting them? They go to the worst rundown house, pull the rats out, pull the asbestos out, they flip it, and they bring it back to life. So when I was in, we bought a house in Denton, and old lady comes out, sister girl. She goes, "My house is beautiful. This man bought my house from it went into foreclosure. She was paying rent, fixed it, and then rented it back to her and raised her rent. Now she goes, and this white man, he tried to buy your house." I said, "No, that's my house, and I'm gonna buy the one 2 doors down." But she goes, "The white man came and bought every single other house beside those two in this neighborhood." Now, I was thinking to her, you guys all live here. You see what's going on. You know that house has been boarded. The house I bought was empty for 2.5 years. 2.5 years it's been empty. And every single people swinging around the hood, 28-inch rims, music blasting, all that crazy stuff, partying and backyard boogieing. And this house has been sitting on the corner here for 2.5 years. Let me tell you something. You can buy that house for, well, not anymore, but you could have bought it for 25 grand, put 50 into it. And if you do it right, the house is worth 200. So my question is, how many times can you take 25 grand? And then let's say I didn't have the 50 grand. Do you realize, you guys, there are banks that as long as you have 30% equity or down, they will give you the money. I don't care how bad your credit is. See, if you want to buy a house and you give me 30% down, I wish you would miss a mortgage payment. I want you to be late because then I get a 30% deal on the month. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to operate with this efficiency. And you guys, we could do it. And I don't want to hear anymore that the gentrification thing. That is because we are letting it happen. Do you know how scared white people are to come into our neighborhood? Think about that for a second. How much money does it have to be for somebody of another race to walk into a black neighborhood that is run down and probably scary and still risk it? How much money must be there? Just think about that, right? Here's the other thing we need to start doing. You guys, we need to be nicer to each other, period. Buying this house, investing it, I had a lady roll up on me talking about, "What you doing buying this house? Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop." I said, "If you don't get your drunk ass in the car, I bet you every other person has walked up, there's 40 flyers. Now you see a black man, somebody your own race, and now you want to sweat me?" I said, "Don't do that." I said, "I look nice, but I have a very dark side that you don't want to be involved with, right? So please don't do this to me. I've been drinking. It's hot out here in Dallas. Don't do it. I mean, I ain't been to sleep." So we need to start functioning like that, you guys. And the time is now, period. So I'm going to take a break so some of these other cats can jump in.
I actually see Joseph, how you doing? I see your comment. He says, "I mean this with all due respect. If blacks operate like Asians and start businesses together, invest together, it's game over." So I'm glad you brought that up. I have a good dear friend of mine by the name of and he sent me a book years ago that's called The Secret to Oriental Wealth. And
I got that. Yeah.
I sent it to Walter, and Walter probably sent it to 100 people. It's a very short read. I'm going to try to find it as an ebook. And in that book, it talks about how Asians operate. They all move here. They get one house. There's 100 of them. I'm speaking, obviously, I'm overblowing it, but the bunch of them in one house. They stack their chips, their money, and then they go buy another house. And then they bring more people in and they go out like that, right? It also talks about, let's say, us, us rich Americans, right? We go out and buy a box of cereal, and it actually costs it a penny worth of cereal, because by the time you actually get to the cereal, you're paying for the box, the distribution of the cereal. It's really only worth a penny. And so what they do, they go buy a big giant bag of rice. They make cereal in the morning with it. They make lunch with the rice. They make dinner with the rice. Like, they stretch their money, but it's us that go and just waste money. So in that, to your point about the Asians, if we operated like that, we would change the game. But I hate to say it, I don't like to be negative, but with us, I don't know, I can have anybody living with me. You got 5 bedrooms, and you and your child and your man and the cat. You mean you can't let nobody come on in there and, pay some of the rent or the mortgage or whatever? Nah, I got to have.
Now that is it, and that's my boy Joey Noble, by the way. He's really black. Don't let his picture confuse you. But like, it's funny. We lived in Riverside, California, and I used to walk this corner to go to school, and there was these Asians lived in the house. If you open the front door, I think we were right by the Hyder Taco Bell on the hillside. If you walked on the way to school, they had the door open, and there was cots. There must have been 20 cots in this house, and it smelled like Cheetos and woks. And I just remember feeling sorry for them. And then as I would go to school, and as time went by, I noticed the red like Mercedes or BMW parked outside. And I went, wait a minute. Okay. Where'd that come from? And before you know it, the house is empty and it's just one family in the house. So, and in the book, and I did send it to Dominique, I sent it to a bunch of people of Oriental Wealth. What they say is, see, we eat rice and vegetables and we use meat as a seasoner. What other races do is they use meat as the core and they use vegetables on the side. You know, when I go to the grocery store, the most expensive thing on my grocery bill is meat, seafood, and wine. If I take those things off my grocery bill, it's next to nothing, period. So we have to, and then D, go back to your point, people saying, oh, ain't nobody living with me. That's if you do have 4 or 5 bedrooms and it's just you living in it. No, I mean, unless you can truly afford it, right? So, but some of us could do the roommates. Like I Airbnb'd my house for 3 years, had strangers in my house that I did not know almost every single night. I had almost 400 people spend the night in my house through Airbnb in 3 years. Now, I don't know those people. Do I like those? Did I like them being in the house? No. But you know what it did? It paid for my house. So it just made sense. And it allowed me to cut my expenses and rebuild. So you guys, we are very talented. And here's the other thing. Even, as we're even sitting and doing these podcasts, we have the ability as a race to really make ourselves stronger. And I think that other races will start respecting us more. Like, look what happened to Nick Cannon, right? And I apologize. I don't know a lot about Nick. I know he did Nickelodeon. I mean, maybe he's not Nickelodeon. I don't know. That's how much I know about Nick. But I know he did the Wild 'N Out, and he's married to Mariah. He had some accomplishments in his life, right? The minute, and I heard what Nick Cannon said. What he said was not that bad. Matter of fact, I had trouble trying to figure out what Nick said wrong. You guys, Black people, we're the only people in the world that doesn't believe that that God looks like them. If you go to China, their God looks like them. You think Buddha's black? If you go to Indonesia, their gods are Indonesian. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so he made a comment about Black people being the original Hebrews. Every race feels like their people are God. So, and I don't know how he said it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but look how fast they and you guys, his shows are money makers. So for them to say, okay, we're going to cut you loose and cut our own money, this tells you how they think about us. What if when that happened to Nick, if all of us got behind him? Because it ain't like a Black man has never made a mistake before, right? We all make mistakes, but we have to start getting behind the people that are doing it big. I never really agreed with Nick's his style and whatever, but the dude ran his own business. And Black people are eating his lunch, saying stuff to him that even the people that fired him aren't even saying to him, right? So, calling him a coon and a sellout, and he bowed down. Hey, you guys, can I ask you a question? If your boss called you today and said, hey, you know what? I'm letting you go unless you come in and apologize. Do you realize that 95% of you guys would go in and apologize? How many times have you worked a job and didn't want to be there, but you went back anyways? So we have to start being nicer to our people. And you guys, Stop with the handout shit. We are strong enough to, like, you guys, like right now it is in California, it's 6 o'clock, right? So where you guys are at, it's 7, 8, 9. When I get done with this podcast, my son is sitting downstairs. We are going back to work, and he'll probably work till 10 till his girlfriend blow him up to leave, and I'll be here till I fall asleep. And then I wake up at 6 and we grind it out. And this is what we do because we are trying to build our future. And that's exciting to me. Some of you guys need to start doing that. Like I've said to 3 or 4 people, even on the War Zone, if you have a business idea, hit me up, send me the math, send me the stuff, and I'll put money into it. Let's go. I don't know how many times you have to say that to somebody. Like if somebody calls me and says, hey, Walter, tell me about cornucopia. You need 10 million. Send me an email, send me the sheet. It's gone. You see what I'm saying? So we have to participate, you guys. And we have some of us, are we going to get hurt? Sure. Are some of you going to lose money in the stock market? You better believe it, because I've lost money. Are we going to lose money in real estate? Yes. But like, how much money did you lose in college? Think about this.
How much they lost at the casino last week?
Oh, at the casino. Right. So I know people that spend $100,000 going to college and aren't even practicing in that trade. They're not even in the field. So they just borrowed $100,000 and they're not even using it. You guys don't think anything about spending $50,000 to go to a college that's going to pay you $40,000 a year versus spending $10,000 to get in a market, be the stock market, real estate, Shopify, something, life insurance. Go spend $10,000 and lose it through experience and getting hurt and learning the ropes to go out and make $100,000 a year. That blows me away. Like when you think about it, how easy it is to make $100,000 a year. Like just break it down real quick. What is that? That's $2,000 a week. Think about this for a second. $2,000 a week. If you only work 5 days, it's $400 a day. What could you do tomorrow to make $400? Think about it. Cut it in half. Make it $50,000. To make $50,000, you only need to make $200 a day. Think about this. I was talking to one of my friends. She does massages. Oh, Walter, I don't know. I said, girl, if you don't shut the hell up, you mean you can't find 2 people a day that want you to rub on them for an hour and a half with some cocoa butter? You are losing your mind. And sell them some candles, incense, and a t-shirt, and sell them a towel with your name on it. That's $200. Once a day, that's $50,000 a year. You are giving Amazon 8 hours of your time plus 2 hours to get there and back, plus the time it takes you to get ready, plus the time you tell your family, oh, I can't do it, I got to work. You lose 12 hours a day for Amazon. And I love Amazon. I'm not killing the company. I'm just using them because that's where she works. For Amazon to pay your black ass $100 after it's all said and done. And you didn't give them 12 hours a day. You mean to tell me that you can't find something to do to make $200 that day? Like even what we're doing here, whatever it is, you guys, if you have a product, sell it, tell people about it. Those of you guys know, our cornucopia.com, our membership is up. If you go to the page and hit register at the top, you can sign up for the membership. It's $99 a month. I'm taking the first 300 people. That means you will have me as your financial advisor around the clock. You text me, call me, I got you. I don't care what it's about, right? That membership, I started with a few $1,000. And I talked my son into giving up his soul damn near financially, come work for me for almost free, right? And my family, well, they have a field day talking about that behind our back, but that's whatever, right? But now it is working. So what I always say to him is, Miles, who's on the phone and is it about our money? Period. Like, where is the money? That's what you guys have to be saying to yourself. Put down the TV, and some of the entertainment is cool to watch. But you guys, if it's not about money, and if it's not with your friends and family and your loved ones, and you're not praising your God, what are you doing with your time? Period. Do you understand what I'm saying? So some of you guys say, you know, you're doing insurance. Insurance is cool, right? I don't care what it is. You guys, pick something. I always tell people I will sell bananas on the freeway before I go hungry. Period. Do you think that I can take some bananas and make shakes and sell them in my neighborhood door to door? I bet you I can make $200 tomorrow selling banana shakes, right? Banana cognac, whatever. Make $350. So here's the point I'm saying, you guys. I'm being funny, but we are talented. We are. And a lot of races, they love us too. Do you realize, like, what Black people did for music? Like you realize rock and roll was invented by a Black woman? Like, you guys, rock and roll means sex. To rock and roll in the bed. That's what rock and roll means. Rock and roll is sex. So when they say sex and rock and roll, no, you don't even know what you're talking about. Rock and roll means sex. It was a Black woman that made up the term rock and roll.
Right.
Period.
All right.
You get the point.
What a surprise.
So we get the point, and I just wanted to say before we close out here that I actually put the title and the author of the book. I was trying to figure out a way to actually give you guys the book in the comments, but I couldn't do it. But if you go to Google, you can download it for free. Okay, it's The Hidden Secrets of Oriental Wealth by Dr. Or actually, that's not Will, it's Wu. Supposed to be Wu, but you guys can find it. So anyway, we are going to get out of here. And Walter will be back here on next Wednesday or Thursday. So if you guys like anything you heard, please reach out to him so that he can help you in whatever financial needs you may have, so he can help you get closer to the goal of wealth. Any final closing comments, Donovan, Gary?
Donovan.
And they want to know the membership website again. If you could put it in the comments, Walter. I'll put it in the comments. Go ahead.
Yeah, you put it in the comments. I'll spell it out. So it's www.cornucopa, CORNACOPA, like cornucopa, COPA. There's a button there. It says register at the top right. You can sign up for the membership. The first 300 people I'm going to take personally as their financial advisor, coach, life coach. So when you talk to me, it's talking money. We're making moves. My job is to push you. And then we're adding other things to the platforms. It's an incredible platform. But right now, we're giving the advice. I don't care what it is you want to talk about, as long as it's about money. Be it you want to afford your woman, you want to leave your man, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car. I will show you how to afford it and live a good life. And at the end of the day, if we're not living a good life, what are we doing here? Because cockroaches and ants go back and forth and survive.
All right, now. All right. So, forgot y'all names. Donovan and Gary, any closing thoughts?
Well, once again, I want to thank Walter for coming on the show and telling everybody some great information. I hope you guys took notes. But at the end of the day, you guys got to realize this. There is nothing more valuable than peace of mind. I would rather live in a tent and be peace of mind rather than be stressed out and cut my life short. So again, I strongly recommend, if you don't know a lot about money and you've never known a lot about money, you've got to hang around people that have money. And trust me, some of that stuff will rub off on
you. Yep.
All right, take us out of here, Gary.
Scared money don't make money. Scared money don't make money. Everybody sitting here watching, you mess off some type of money every single day. It's what we do. It's not a human that I know breathing that just don't have disposable income that they just mess off. Yeah. So why don't we just look? I'm gonna tell you what I told myself one day. You've been doing it like you've been doing it all your life, and you ain't got but 2 nickels to rub together. Won't you just try it a different way? Won't you just try it a different way? If you can do that, you're gonna get on your feet real fast, man. Say, man, I want to thank you for tuning in. Wealthy Wednesdays with the money man himself, Walter Coulture. My co-hosts were in the building, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetri K, and I am the 5-star general. Until tomorrow, we'll holler at you.